So today here on the channel, we're going to talk about an AR-10 versus an AR-15. I'm going to give you a take about this because there's a lot of conversations here in the community. You know, I've been part of the YouTube community for like 5 years making videos, and a lot of people talk about guns. Which one is the best gun? Which one is it? And a lot of times we talk about the plain concept of the firearm, but many times we don't talk how that firearm affects you because you're the one that is the weapon using the tool, right? So I wanted to talk about the AR-10 versus the AR-15. Let's get started.
Core Essential is one of the best gun belts in the market for concealed carry. It has a hidden track that allows you 40 plus sizing points. It gives you the ability to carry small all the way to a large firearm, and it's backed up with a 30-day money back guarantee. Definitely use JH6 for 10% off your entire order.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you could be notified when I post a video. And check it out, guys. Support our sponsors. They support me to make videos. And also, big thank you to my patrons. You guys are fantastic. So, AR-10 versus AR-15. Before we even get into that, let me tell you kind of like a little story, right? When I went to combat, there were some situations where I saw and I witnessed people bringing the big guns, you know, bringing the big rifles. Essentially, the M4, which shoots a 5.56, wasn't good enough. And if you start seeing some of the DMs and some of the guys that take those long distance shooters, they use, 7.62 weapons. They don't use the 5.56. So obviously, there is a big, very big advantage that you can't even argue on the AR-10. So here's my AR-10 that I've been working on for several months by now, and essentially this is a Palmetto state. If you haven't seen the videos, I'll link it down below. But I bought this rifle primarily for one reason: to make videos here on YouTube. I bought this rifle to see this rifle was accurate enough for some of you guys to use it. Like, I actually spend my money to make videos and test it, right? And you know what? So far, it's doing good. There's a couple of things that I just upgraded. Like, I did the charging handle back here. If you haven't watched the video, I'll link it down below. And I also put a compensator, and big shout out to Optics Planet. They actually send data here to the channel for me to be able to do that. They send the scope as well. All those videos, I'm going to link it down below. But obviously the AR-10, I mean, it's a big platform. It is a big rifle. It does shoot a bigger caliber, but again, it is a big rifle.
Thing move, man.
So just to give you an idea, for some of you guys that are new, here's a 308, here's a 223. Again, 5.56 in the military, 7.62 in the military. And again, you're going to see in the B-roll, what is the difference? Obviously, the 308 is a big round. It's a round that when it gets hit, that's it. You're done. It's going to hurt. It's going to pull you down. It is designed to take you down. 5.56 is a different round, right? It's smaller. It's not as powerful as the 308. So again, let's just look at the magazines right here. This is a 308 magazine right there. I mean, this thing is huge, right? Compare that to this magazine, AR-15 mag, right? I mean, big different. I mean, severe different, right? You have really a big magazine compared to the 5.56 or 223 rounds. Again, I mean, this thing is huge if you put it side by side, right? So at this point, I kind of make my point. The AR-10 is a bigger platform, has a bigger round. It's going to be able to take down a target, even if you're hunting or something like that, more powerful. I mean, the amount of power that you have in this platform, it's just fantastic compared to AR-15. Now, the big problem comes down to the weight, and this is why when I talk to people, a lot of guys kind of like take this weapon and they don't really think beyond the weapon. They don't really think about the purpose of the weapon. This is a heavy weapon. I mean, this thing, guys, I got to tell you, mine is set up kind of heavy because it's set up to, obviously, I'm trying to set this up to be able to take a well-aimed shot at a long distance, but typically 308s are heavier than your regular AR-15. Not only that, the ammunition is heavier. The magazines are heavier. I just show you this, right? So again, having 6 magazines of 308 is not the same as having 6 magazines of 223. We're looking at a big difference. Not only that, you're going to be able to carry less rounds, because even this one, kind of like about the same size, right? This is a 25 round magazine versus a 30 round magazine. So again, you're going to have less rounds. So it is going to be extremely heavy compared to an AR-15. So if you run a 308, keep in mind that yes, you're going to have a higher caliber. You're going to have a caliber that is more powerful and all that good stuff. But keep in mind that it's heavier than your regular AR-15. So the question is, can you handle it? Can you carry a weapon, 6 magazines, a chest rig, a backpack, any other supplies that you have, and you be able to carry this for a long distance? Can you actually do that? I mean, again, it's a weapon that is heavy. You got to think about these things, because a lot of times we think about the weapons. We think about just having a gun and walk around. Oh, I got my cool gun. But if you can't even walk a mile with this weapon, you going to have an issue. If you can't walk a mile with a backpack, you are going to have an issue. Those are issues that some people can do, and you need to prepare for that. You need to prepare for the fact that, you know what, there may be a possibility that carrying this weapon is just too much for me, so I need to severely downgrade to something else. Again, now that getting an AR-15 is downgrading, because you could defend yourself very, very well, right? Again, here's one of my AR-15s, and again, way lighter. Just holding it right now compared to that 308, I'm like, whoa, way lighter than that. And again, I could defend myself really, really well, and it's easier for me to carry this. It is easier for me to carry 180 rounds. It is easy for me to move with this weapon. I mean, this is a rifle that is smaller than that rifle, so actually carrying the rifle, just carrying that AR-10 in your back, across your body, however you're going to do in a dismounted operation, it's just going to be complicated. Obviously, if you're in a vehicle, it's a little bit different. We're talking about actually having to dismount and actually walk. We're talking about walking around your house. We're talking about maneuvering the rifle, just moving that rifle around a house. Having a rifle that is bigger, it is more difficult to maneuver, right? A rifle that is smaller, you can maneuver very, very easy. Another factor that I kind of almost forgot to mention, it is easier to shoot this rifle than the AR-10. So again, an AR-15, even though it's pretty much the same operation system, it is easier to shoot based on the recoil. So if you go down and your wife pick up the rifle, your kid pick up a rifle, it is now the same for that person to shoot a 308 than shoot a 223, right? This is just easier. So again, there's a lot of factors that come to the 308. I think that pretty much the biggest factor is going to be the weight. The rifle is heavier, the ammunition is heavier. It is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit less popular than the AR-15. If something ever happens, survival situation or something like that, I think you'll be able to find AR-10 parts a lot. I mean, there's a ton of them, but I think the AR-15 obviously is one of the most popular rifles in the United States, right? So this you will be able to find it way easier. But the point is simple, guys. When you look at guns, it just can't be like, I want the most powerful gun ever. The AR-10 is more powerful than the AR-15. Yes, that is a true statement, but can you carry that gun? Can you strap this beast that you're gonna see here right now, and can you even shoot it? Because I gotta tell you guys, you put 60 rounds through a 308, you're gonna feel it. You're really gonna feel it. So can you actually perform with that firearm? A lot of times we see videos talking about the differences between one and the other one, and that is all great. I could go into Google, I could open the specs, I could read the specs, I could read the ballistics, I could read all this nonsense, I could read all that, but ultimately, can you use that weapon to the best of your ability? Can you defend yourself with that firearm? That is the question. You won't be able to find that on Google. You won't be able to find that on the specs, right? It doesn't say Fabian could operate this gun, right? That is up to you. So when you look at a rifle like this and a huge rifle like that one, that 308, can you actually, which one is the one that you're going to use to the best of their abilities? I mean, again, which one is fitting your mission and which one will you be able to use effectively? It kind of goes back to the calibers. People argue about caliber all the time. It's like, this is the best caliber. Which one is the best caliber? Well, whichever you could hit the bad guy with. You could have a big 308, but if you can't hit the bad guy because you can't use the rifle, it is nonsense and that's no good to you. So again, the biggest issue that I have with the 308 that you have to worry about is going to be weight. Me personally, AR-15 all the way. That 308, you know what? I have it with me. I say it's part of my self-defense plan, but it is designed specifically to be able to take a shot at a long distance. That's what I'm trying to go for that. And when I say long distance, I don't mean like way out there. I mean like, at a pretty decent distance. And again, it's not something that I'm going to be humping around. It's not something that I'm going to be taking with me. It's not something that I'm going to be stocking up in ammo like crazy because ultimately, guys, this thing is heavy and me with back issues and things like that, it's going to be hard for me to be able to use that rifle to the best of my ability. I think the AR-15 will be a better rifle for me to use. Let me know what you think. Put comments down below. And as always, God is in control.